Hi everyone, welcome back to today's Love Transformation class. We are joined today by the beautiful Madeline Rinehart, and I've been a fangirl of Madeline's meditations and her work on law of attraction for quite some time now, so super thrilled that she's able to join us for this event today. Welcome, Madeline.
Hi, Peta. Thank you. So happy to be here. Honored to be here.
We've got some really juicy conversations to have today. I know that the majority of our audience are pretty familiar with law of attraction and manifesting. We know how important this is as far as manifesting more love abundance, soulmate partnership into our lives. And this is really a specialty of yours, right? Tell us how you got into law of attraction.
Oh, love this question. So I first got into law of attraction actually probably about 11, almost 12 years ago, because of a necessity. I, at the time, was, I believe, completely on the wrong path for me, and it was causing me a tremendous amount of anxiety, to the point where it became basically a panic disorder. To put it all out there, I had a severe anxiety, and I all my life I was very happy, very healthy, and when this hit me, I knew that this wasn't normal for me. I knew that I truly believed that there had to be a way to heal. If it was truly my mind and my thoughts that were causing me so much distress and turmoil inside my body, in my mind, and actually having physical effects, I had this belief that it's got to be within my thoughts as well that can heal me. So I began the journey, the mind-body connection journey, and came across law of attraction, and it really struck me, it really resonated with me. But more importantly, when I started practicing better thoughts, connecting with my emotional state, when I really started practicing healing from within, I experienced true healing. So the results, you can tell someone to do something all day, but it's really experienced with law, and became really obsessed with it, actually, that to the point where I became certified to coach it, because I fully believe still in the power of thoughts, and the power of thoughts to manifest, and the power of thoughts not only to manifest health in the body and well-being in the body, but in relationships and career. It translates to every area of your life. So yeah, that's how I got started, and haven't stopped since, basically.
Awesome. What do you think are a couple of the critical aspects of manifesting and law of attraction that you see relate to how successful or unsuccessful we are in drawing in our soulmate, our partner?
Right. Great question. So basically with law of attraction, the premise really is that it all starts from within. At the most basic, fundamental, at the most basic part of us, our energy, right? You break down the atom, you break down the DNA, and it comes down to energy. And so everything's energy. And we are this big packet of energy. We are this moving, vibrating, dynamic, living energy. And it's our energy that's responding, pushing against, if you will, but really sending out a signal, and also responding to and receiving energies from all around us, from other people, from plants, from the universe at large. So it's what you first have to understand is that everything is energy, your energy, and everything else is responding to your energy. So when you can get that, then you can start working with your energy. Meaning, and hopefully this is not too out there for a lot of people that might be new to this, but basically energy, you want to think about your thoughts. You want to think about the way your feelings, that's energy. You want to think about what makes you you. Everything about you is energy. as you work with that, as you work with what your beliefs are around love, as you work with what your beliefs are around yourself, as you work with your expectations, what do I expect to experience when it comes to love? What do I actually believe and expect to experience when it comes to men, when it comes to women, when it comes to long-term relationships, when it comes to marriage, whatever it is that you might be interested in or thinking about? What are your actual beliefs around that? Your true beliefs, not what you might hope and wish to happen, but what you actually expect to happen. What is it you grew up around? All the energy we grew up around, we absorb that. We're responding to that. It's a part of us now. It's part of our story. And that's all, again, it's energy, and it's sitting within our realm, within your realm. So when you get to work with that, when you look at it as energy and not something that perhaps that you're stuck with. Oh, I grew up, nobody else around me experiences great love, so I highly doubt I can. No, that's not necessarily true, because again, if you understand it's all just energy, then you can play with it, you can change it. It's what's the word? It's mutable. It's something that you, as you again change your thoughts, your beliefs, your expectations, the way you see yourself, as you change, then everything will begin to change. And that's fundamentally the law of attraction. So it's everything. When it comes to relationships, it's really, truly everything, because what I see a lot, across the board, is that our biggest, the one thing that will hold us back from great love really is ourselves. There's no lack. It's not like there's a lack of great people to fall in love with, to meet. There's not a lack of soulmates. If you want to get into the soulmate arena, there's not a lack of love in the universe, but there is a lot of doubt. There is a lot of disbelief. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of that internal stuff we have that actually pushes against just allowing love to come in and be really easy. So to me, law of attraction is everything, because it all starts from what's going on within me. When I can adjust that to believing, expecting, feeling into what I really want, then that energy radiates out. The energy like sends out a call into the universe, to all the energy that's all around you. Distance doesn't matter. You can meet someone across the world and cross paths in one day, and boo, I've seen it happen. Because again, energy does not know time, space, any bounds. When you align your energy with what you want, it's like you send out the signal and things start shifting very, very quickly.
What I love about our conversation today is that I know that you're going to share with me and with our audience some sort of more advanced ideas and techniques about how to manifest in a partner, and a lot of new things that a lot of us haven't heard before. Before we go there though, what I'd love to hear from you is, what has been in your experience, or what do you see that a lot of single women are doing that's really holding them out of alignment, that's preventing them from manifesting? What are some of the manifesting don'ts and mistakes we're making with law of attraction?
The first thing that came to mind, what I see a lot, is it comes down to the beliefs. I see that there is a strong belief that in scarcity. It's, Madeline, you don't understand. It's just really hard to meet men where I'm at. And I work primarily with women who are seeking men. And so there's a strong belief that, Madeline, there's just no good men, or the men I meet are just crap, in their terms. I don't necessarily think of men that way, but they just believe in scarcity. They really believe it. And they argue for why it's going to be hard. They argue for why they can't. Oh, Madeline, you don't understand. Like, I have a kid. Like, it's just a lot of baggage. None of that matters. I'm telling you, none of that matters. I have seen single moms. I have seen women 50s, 60s find love. I have seen women who all their life felt like had been cheated on, had been disrespected, had not manifested good relationships, they turn around, again, their energy, they get their beliefs and their expectations and their self-worth, and they get all of that in place, and love like flocks to them. Like I see this all the time. I do programs on this, and I get to see like groups of women make awesome transformations. So back to your question. Yeah, it really comes down to the belief. And a lot of beliefs are in scarcity. A lot of women actually are angry. I haven't actually talked about this a lot, but a lot of women that I work with are actually very, very angry at men. And I think that is actually a collective wound. And I think it's a collective wound on both sides. There's a lot of women that are angry at at men for what they saw when they grew up, maybe what they saw culturally, And a lot of that is reflection on their own self-worth and what is kind of reflected back to them in our culture about what it means to be a woman, and maybe a feminine woman specifically. But yeah, so I see a lot of anger at men, and sometimes with men even too, I see a lot of anger with women. So it's like we're angry at each other. We don't understand each other. We're at this like impasse. And but when we heal that within ourselves, which I do see a lot of healing happening through all the work that everyone that you're speaking with, I know is coaching on and teaching, which is awesome. When you do that healing work, whatever it is that is having you believe that there are no good men, or that it doesn't last long, or they might show up good in the beginning and then it just, they end up being jerks after you seal the deal or whatever. When you work on a lot of those fears and stories and beliefs and experiences, and you heal that, relationships change, the people you attract change, you change, and then the way people respond to you change. It all just changes. So yeah, great question. The biggest thing I see is the belief stuff. It's the fear. It's a fear, a misunderstanding really of each other, but a fear of each other, and also a big belief in scarcity. Biggest thing. So if this resonates with whoever's listening to that, work on that first. Work on talking to yourself. I guess reparenting, re-mentoring, retraining yourself to start opening up to the abundance that really is here. No, there's a lot of great men. I'm willing to believe that. I'm willing to start seeing that around me. I believe that there's great love anywhere, everywhere. I believe I'm not limited at all. Start there, and then work on any anger you may have against men. This is deeper stuff too, but yeah, if you notice that a lot of your relationships seem to attract a lot of turmoil and fights and chaos and stuff like that, work on the anger within. Always start from within, and then as you begin to heal whatever comes up through that work, you will notice a shift in all your relationships.
And I hear for a lot of people, it's often a case of like, well, I'll believe it when I see it, but how can I believe something that I don't even have any evidence for in my environment? So I know there's a lot of women that like love the idea of this soul level conscious, beautiful partnership, but do struggle to believe that that's possible.
Yeah, immediately what comes to mind is to let you know that those relationships are out there. And if you're just willing to be open to the idea that they are out there, that's when you start attracting it. That's when you start attracting the examples. That's when you start noticing examples maybe in the media that you may have overlooked. I've seen situations where people can look at a really beautiful, healthy, conscious couple and not even recognize what's in front of them, because they're just not heart's not open to seeing that. It's really what it comes down to. And there is, so I completely understand there is truth to a lot of people who did not grow up. The first relationship they saw, the primary relationship they saw, the biggest imprint of relationship they saw was probably not healthy and probably not conscious. And that does shape so much about what we expect and believe and actually attract later on in life. So I understand the struggle in that part is real, but I would also encourage you that now that we are evolving and maturing and being able to think for ourselves and ask different questions, begin to ask the question, or at least become open to, well, is it possible that this is actually all around me? I'm just not seeing it. Is it possible that my neighbor actually might be an example of someone that's a great relationship? I just never thought to look. I just never thought to see it. So start there and start with that shift. Be open to the possibility. And then I promise you, things will happen. You'll start to notice people, relationships, encounters that will begin to reflect what you're expecting to see. Yeah.
And you've helped women successfully manifest all kinds of amazing experiences for themselves in their life. What are some practical things day to day that single women should be doing religiously every day to support them to manifest their partner?
Self-care. That's, to me, self-care is a sign of self-love, self-respect, self-worth. It is so hard. I'll put it this way, it's a lot harder to feel loving and feel excited and expectant of love if you are drained, if you are stressed, if you are overworked, if if you're just tired and depleted, right? If all our energy is going into just surviving, we don't have enough energy to the thriving arena. It may sound cliche, but 5 minutes a day, 10 minutes a day, I'm telling you, when you come back to energy and law of attraction, when you are taking good care of yourself. And again, it's not selfish to take good care of yourself, ladies. I see this a lot. A lot of people feel guilty when they take time for them, when they say, hey guys, close the door. I'm going into my meditation. I'm going into my yoga. I'm going into my, whatever you do. It is not selfish. It is so important, because as you take good care of you.
And so for our, I guess, the girls who are really into a law of attraction, can you tell us like how looking after yourself and self-care and managing your own vibration, like how does that make you a better manifester?
Yeah. Okay. I love this question, because I cannot tell you how many women feel so guilty about taking really good care of themselves. And I am one that used to feel, I grew up with the whole environment story belief that it was either irresponsible or selfish or a waste of money to spend money on yourself, or spend money on little things that maybe felt good for you but weren't necessary. And so it took a while for me to give myself full permission that no, I want to have a good life, and I want to feel good. And really, I think more importantly is the better I feel, and this is law of attraction here for you, the better you feel, the better you manifest. The better you feel, the higher you're going to show up, not only to yourself, but to your relationship, to your children, to the world at large. We cannot, if we are overworked, stressed out, hungry, tired, angry, whatever, we are not showing up as our highest self. We're doing ourselves a huge disservice, but also our relationships. And ultimately, again, with energy, if we are showing up in an energy of being stressed out and angry and tired and just surviving, that's what we're going to continue to attract. We're operating and projecting and receiving at a survival level. That's a low vibrational level. So what you want to do is you want to give yourself full permission to move into a place of great self-care, feeling it's good to feel good. So feeling good, whatever for you it takes to feel, to get back into your heart, to get back into a place of, I'm probably gonna get esoteric here, but a place of presence, really a place of where you're not just surviving, where you know your needs are met, you know all is well, you know that it's safe to just be. When you get into that place, you're back into your heart. You're back into that place where now things open up for you. The heart is the secret. I know we're probably going to get into that, but the heart is, especially when it comes to love, ladies, your heart is your superpower. And a lot of us have closed off our heart because we're still in survival. We're in a lot of fear and in a lot of stuff that blocks us from easily seeing and attracting and feeling that true love. So self-care is a non-negotiable for me at this point. And it's really a non-negotiable. I teach it as a non-negotiable because there's just so much good, so much magic that happens when we take care of ourselves. It may seem paradoxical, but it's the truth. It's like the better we take care of ourselves, the better everything shifts around us, the better our relationships become, the better we feel in those relationships. It's just the universe at large is responding to us in that higher vibration.
I so agree. And I think conversely to that, we've all can think of examples in our life when we're not really taking good care of ourselves. We're perhaps not eating well. We don't have a routine that really sort of nourishes us, and life doesn't just doesn't seem to flow as easily. Things don't, it's easy to get kind of stuck in that. So that should definitely be sort of evidence to support what it is that you're saying about how important that is to nourish ourselves in a beautiful way. Yeah. We had a quick chat just before we hit record, and you shared with me a little bit about the beautiful soulmate partnership that you were able to manifest in. And I was super interested to hear about that and about how exactly you did that, but I knew that we had to share it with our audience too.
Thank you. Yes. Okay. So I love sharing the deep stuff. I love going into the deep end, meaning I love helping, guiding, coaching women to really go within and connect with soul, connect with that infinite eternal presence that is really guiding and doing so much magic in our lives, whether we realize it or not. So I love doing the soul work, the inner work, the etheric work, the spiritual work, because it's powerful. It's very powerful. And, with the law, with everything we've just spoken about, with really tending to your energy and understanding the law of attraction, the foundational pieces like that, self-worth, self-love, self-care, looking at any wounds and anger we may have towards relationships, that has to come first, because that's your foundation. And that's going to help you move out of that survival state and into the heart, which is commonly called the seat of the soul. When you're able to do that, when you're able to have a good foundation, when you're able to then move into the heart, into that place of presence, that's where you tap into. That's where a lot of my meditations, that's where really a lot of the work the transformational work that I teach really starts to take off. And so what we were talking about, Peta, before we started recording was I'm engaged to be married to the love of my life. He's truly my soulmate. He's the most like amazing man I've ever met in my entire life. And the whole process of manifesting him, if you are, having him come into my life was really, I'm not even sure what the word is. It was just surreal. Yeah, it was very surreal. With Clint, I was very deliberate. I was at a point in my life where I was like, okay, I'm ready for the real deal. Universe, God, I'm ready for the real deal relationship. I've had my experiences, my learning lessons, very grateful for all of that. And I think really up until the point where I kind of, it was sort of like that come to Jesus moment. Up until that point, I was sort of just like drifting, kind of just experimenting, kind of seeing what came along. I wasn't really like deliberate about what I wanted to call into my life. Well, before I met Clint, I got deliberate. I got to the point where it's like, okay, enough's enough. I'm ready. And it's like something clicks within when you know you're ready. It's just like, there's like an internal shift that happens when you know it's time. And maybe you've known it's time for like the longest time. Give yourself permission now to call it in if you're ready for it. And that's ultimately what I did. So what I did was I had the foundation stuff in place, but I would go into a meditative state, and I would connect with my soul, which is something I guide people through in my meditations. And then I would just ask. I would ask to be shown. I would kind of put my prayer, my request out, ask to be shown, okay, I'm ready for this relationship. Soul, like, who would be the best match? Who's like the one person living right now that would be the most perfect match for me? There's got to be someone. And I would just allow myself to begin to receive impressions. And at first, when I first did this, not a whole lot came. I just started getting a feeling, like this kind of like giddy, like almost like teenager in love feeling. I'm like, okay, that feels good. That's a shift. That's energy work. That's energy moving. Whenever you feel yourself shifting more towards like any different state, that's energy moving. And you begin to feel that first in your emotional body. And that's what I received at first. And also too, when you begin this work, it may feel like, am I making this up? Is this really working? Is this like trust every little subtle thing? It's so powerful. I can't even explain how powerful it is. So that's how it started for me. I would begin to start to see these energy shifts of just like love and my heart opening and like that just like really giddy, happy feeling. I would continue to do this. I think I did this for about a week, maybe 2 weeks. I eventually began to receive visuals. I had a very vivid meditation where I saw Clint. So like I just remember like I guess I would call it his soul. I believe his soul came into my meditation, came into my energy, came to me, if you will. And I just noticed the eyes, like the blue eyes. I remember talking with him like, wow, his eyes are really sparkly and like bright. And I noticed the hair, and I noticed the height and the stature. And in my mind, I'm thinking like, wow, I wonder if I'm still kind of questioning, is this real? He was so lovely. And we would have like in my meditation, we would have these really awesome conversations. And I just remember thinking like, I don't know who this guy is, but like, I love meditating with. I just love being so much in that meditation. It was so juicy and like warm, and it was just amazing. And anyways, long story short, so I did that for about a week, 2 weeks. About a month, maybe a little bit less than a month, I ended up coming in contact. I ended up seeing Clint, and right away I recognized the blue sparkly eyes, the hair, the stature, and I was just like, oh my God. Like, I couldn't tell on this. I wanted to be like, you know, I think I met your soul, man. But yeah, when I saw him, I knew that he was the one I met in my meditation. I wasn't sure like he was going to be the one I was going to marry. Because, you know, you just never know. I just feel like life, the future is not set in stone. We are constantly writing and stepping into probable realities based on our energy in the moment. But it was a very strong potential because I just felt there's such, we had made a really powerful energetic connection via the meditation work. Anyway, so very quickly, he recognized something. I obviously recognized something. I didn't say anything. I actually didn't say anything for a few months until we already discussed, you know, marriage and things like that. I was like, by the way, I don't want to tell you this, but I think I met your soul before I met you. And I told this whole thing. He was just like, I was like, how do you think you would have responded if I would have told you this, like on our, you know, one of our first dates? He's like, I don't know. You just don't know. But yeah, so, yeah, I guess I say all this because the work that's done, in the energy realm, when you do the visualization, when you make it real, I think one of the big things that meditation did for me was it was making it real. It was calling him in. It started off as just energy. It started off as just a feeling. And I connected with that love, and I connected with, you know, the idea of like big arms around me and hugging me. It just opened my heart. And that was the first shift. That was the first step I took. And that was that heart opening, right? And then that one step opened up to more and more and more. And then it's like I attracted more. I began to see like visions, and I began to then hear him speak, and we began to have like conversations in this meditation. I hope I don't sound crazy to people, but like seriously, you can go into a meditation and connect. Long story short, you can connect with anyone's soul. You can connect with the soul of the person of your soulmate, the person you want to call in for a life partnership. You can connect with souls from the past. A lot of people, one of my most popular meditations is a meditation of healing, letting go of a relationship, finding closure from a past relationship. Some people don't get closure. You can go into a meditation and connect with the soul of someone that you just need to speak with or say something to or hear something from. And there's a tremendous amount of healing because, again, it comes down to we are all energy. Energy doesn't die. It's not born. It always is. It just transforms. So you can always connect with whatever you need to, whomever you need to at any point, and do a lot of healing work, attracting work, just really, really powerful work. And you may not always know. I wasn't sure that the soul I was connecting with, again, would be Clint. But fortunately, that's exactly what I wanted to call in and exactly what I did call in. It's just really, really cool. Does that make sense? Is that pretty out there or what?
I've so felt what you've described before. And I know this is something that is difficult, and probably especially for the women that aren't regular meditators or experiencing meditators, understanding the depth or the space that you go to. How would you describe that? How would you describe that, where it is that you need to get yourself to in order to be able to access this that you're talking about?
So yeah, for me in the beginning, it took me a while, not gonna lie. I think it's easier now. I don't know if it's just the times or whatever, but it took me a while because my mind is like, that's how I was just raised and brought up to be. So it took me a while just to even get to that place of just feeling like my thoughts were slowing down. Like I mentioned, that back into that presence. It probably took me about 20 minutes or so, maybe 30 minutes of just allowing myself to just be, giving myself permission to just sit in meditation, which is self-care. Because your mind's thinking, you should be doing that, you could be doing that, and you don't give yourself permission to just be. And that blocks off so much magic we don't even realize. I didn't realize at the time. So it took me a little bit in the beginning to give myself permission to just be. And then eventually when I would just allow myself to do that 30 minute meditation, then I noticed very gradually there is a shift that happens from kind of feeling like the momentum that wants to pull you into doing. So you just sort of shift, and then how would I describe it? Such a good question. It's just a very subtle shift because your emotions begin to get still. Your thoughts begin to slow. You notice you don't feel as rushed. You notice you begin to feel actually a little bit lighter. It was very, very gradual at first. Now, after having done this for, about a decade, how do I get into that space? So what it's like, again, it's a very, now it happens to me more quickly, but I still notice it. What happens is you will notice whatever that threshold is, you get to a threshold where it's like you just switch over. So it's going to be different for everybody. But whatever it is, and it may not even be meditation. Sometimes for me, it's like yoga or dancing. But for me, what happens is it's like, again, you go through this, there's like a momentum that pulls you. It's like a busy, hurried momentum, doing, thinking, typical everyday kind of momentum. And you go from that, and you can feel as you try to switch over into that more of that heart space, that heart-centered energy, where you start to get downloads and you start to really radiate a lot of really powerful energy, love. It's like, yeah, you begin to feel the shift. It begins as you feel the tug, you feel the resistance. You don't really want to do it, but then it's almost like in yoga, you find your edge. You say, okay, I feel the resistance to not go here. So I'm going to kind of lean into that. It's a little bit uncomfortable. Lean into it, breathe into it. Okay, feeling myself settle, feeling myself ground. Okay, shift a little bit more. Okay, now I feel a little bit more at peace. Okay, this is cool. Just a little bit more. Wow, my thoughts are actually slowing down. And now, next thing you know, you've shifted into the present moment state of being. You're not hurried, you're not rushed, you're in the moment. If you're doing a guided meditation like the soul work, that's when you begin to receive. The stuff that I received, I wasn't consciously like making up, like, okay, he's got to have blue eyes. Like, I just put myself in that space. And in that space, it's like, I started getting, first it was the energy shift, but then I started getting visions and ideas. And a lot of people might start just getting different things pop up. Allow whatever wants to pop up. It has a message. Yeah, so I would say whatever it takes for you to move into the edge of every part of you wants to not be in meditation. Every part of you thinks you have to be doing a million other things. Every part of you is going to resist this. Lean into that. That's the magic. That's the practice. Lean into it, and then eventually there's a shift. And the more you shift into that present awareness, into that heart space, the easier it is to get in there. And when you're in that heart space, I'm telling you all, that is, your heart space is like, I think it's Heart Math Institute has a lot of data on how the energy around the heart is just, it's the most electromagnetically powerful source of energy you have. If you can get in the energy you're sending out, you are just a magnet. You are a beacon of like love and light that you're sending out, and it's powerful. The best way to put it is powerful. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. I love that. And I love the way that you so passionately talk about meditation. And I think that that's really one of the reasons why your meditations are so special, and you have a phenomenal amount of beautiful, stunning meditations on YouTube, and a very special meditation available for our audience today that's usually only reserved for your paying clients.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's a meditation that I give my goddesses that when they go on this journey from, like we were just saying, from like the typical busy hurried space into that beautiful feminine. And that's that's also the seed of, for those of you learning about feminine energy, that's heart. That is heart energy. It is irresistible. It is magnetic. It is stunning. It gives you that glow behind your eyes. That's the heart stuff. This is the magic when you really want to talk about it with love. So yeah, this is what I give my goddesses. This is what I preempt, the pre-work I give all my goddesses before we go into the foundational work is a meditation to get them in that heart, in that glow, in that radiance, in that like irresistible factor, that goddess factor, which is again that heart energy that I feel like women just so can so easily connect with. It's powerful. And so yeah, I'm gonna do a special download for everyone here that they can have it for free, because I love you all and I love you, and I think it's just good stuff. Yeah.
Brilliant. So that's linked up below the video today. I'm super excited that you're able to share that with our audience, because I know just how special that meditation is. Is there anything else that you would like to share with our audience before we wrap up our session today?
If I were to say one last thing, specifically to my ladies, I would say, and I guess to anybody, I would say that this work, everything you're learning here, through Peta's great retreat. Like, this is so awesome. Like, every ounce of energy, every minute that you spend diving into this stuff, opening your heart to this stuff, every minute you spend shifting towards believing in something new, believing in something different, believing in something awesome for you, every moment, every minute, every second that you spend in that direction matters. And even if right now you can only do a minute a day of listening to a podcast like this, or a conversation like this, or a minute a day of just becoming aware, at least just aware, that adds up. You guys, this stuff has cumulative effects. So please don't give up on yourself. I see far too many women specifically giving up on themselves. They have a bad experience, they have a bad date, they've maybe had a string of bad relationships, and they just give up. Instead of shifting and trying something new, it's far easier to give up. And that's heartbreaking, because I know for a fact that great love is here for everybody. I know that change is available right now. It does not take much. It just takes leaning into that resistance is really all it is. Once you get past that resistance, it gets easier. So yeah, please don't give up. Please don't give up on love. Please don't give up on yourself. This is the magic. This is the moment where the littlest shifts, the continual steps in the right direction add up. And we're at a point where I think things can happen faster than they've ever happened before. We are so connected. We have the ability to do so many cool things that we couldn't have done, 50 years ago. Don't give up. There's so much at our fingertips. Keep going.
Oh my goodness, that is such a beautiful message. And I think especially in these unprecedented times that we're living in right now, there is a tendency to let some of our dreams go. Hopefully not. And I really believe that your message, your words today, and your wisdom have really resonated with all of us, and me as well. So thank you so much for being part of our virtual retreat and spending this time with us, and also for sharing your meditations, and just generally being supportive of women all around the world to be able to manifest their dreams and really live a life that's in alignment with their heart. So thank you so much, my love.
Thank you.
And we'll see you all again tomorrow for another love transformation class. Bye for now.